Hi, I'm former Buckeye quarterback Rex Kern. I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. Those experiences provided me with learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. High school sports help young people learn about hard work, discipline, and sacrifice, and they go a long way in helping provide the tools needed to succeed in life. High school sports are more than extracurricular, they're extra important too.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. Thanks for tuning in today. My special guest from the A2 Club Velocity, Andy Phillips. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, thank you.
Glad to have you. We're winding down volleyball season, but you're actually going to kick it in gear. And let's talk a little bit about the club itself. And let's talk a little about Andy first. Teaching and talk a little bit about.
Yes, I teach at Lancaster High School, teach carpentry. I've been out there for a number of years. This is my 18th year going into education, so I've been around for a while. This is my 11th year of coaching. So A2 Velocity started, we're in our second year, and we're a satellite club from A2 Westerville.
Okay.
So,
So when we talk about, a lot of people know what AAU is and all that. Mm-hmm. Correlate club volleyball to basketball and.
Sure. It's very similar to AAU basketball. It's during the off season of school ball, so our season will start in December for a few teams and goes from December all the way through May. So it's kind of a long process, and we've got tryouts coming up just around the corner.
Okay, now phone number, website,
yes.
Where people need to get the information.
You can go to our website and find us at Advancement Academy, all one word, advancementacademy.org is our website. If you click on the link, it says Velocity, A2 Velocity. That's us. We're the satellite club. All the information's there, from the coaches to the prices, to the teams we've had, to coaches' bios. You're going to find a plethora of information there.
Now, people always talk about, oh, I'm not good enough to make that club. I'm assuming different levels of competition?
Sure. Yeah, our first year we just did the lowest level in the Ohio Valley region, which is the regional level. This year, since we've expanded and we've actually merged with another club, we merged over the summer with TCVC from Amanda. So Jody Ross is the director there, and she came on board with us, and she's one of our assistant directors like me. So this year we're expanding, and we will have regional and American teams. So there's 3 different levels that they have in the OVR, regional being the lowest, American is at the middle, and then national is the highest level.
Talk about time commitment. Kids always talk about, well, I'm doing softball, I'm doing track, I'm doing club volleyball. Talk a little bit about time commitment.
Sure. We had a lot of, winter sport athletes play. Our winter sport athletes, we offer them the regional level. Just because of all the schedule juggling they have to. The American levels for those girls who are more committed, play the one sport, and they get, as a benefit, they start a little bit earlier. They'll start in December, where our regional teams will start in January.
Now, kids from all over, or just Fairfield County? Or?
We've pulled kids from Franklin County, Logan, New Lex, Amanda, Circleville. We've had kids from all over,
How'd you get into this? You play volleyball as a young kid? Or?
Yeah, well, actually, I got started when I was in the military. I was stationed out in Port Hueneme, California, and right next to our base was Ventura Beach, and it's a pretty big known beach for beach volleyball, and they have 20-some courts set up there. So kind of walked into it and fell in love with the sport back then when I was 18 years old, and been trying to play and coach ever since.
Did you ever get up to Fort Ord up in Monterey?
No. Mostly down south. We went down to Manhattan, played some down in San Diego and some of the bigger beaches down there.
And that's up by Santa Cruz, just outside of San Jose.
Oh, okay.
So when people talk about this, is there a number per team you can have from one school, or How does that work?
Yeah, the OVR has some stipulations on how many girls from the same school you can have. It's 3 girls you can have that are in the same school.
But they
or
can be
go
in
to the
different
same-
grades, though? I mean,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
But, so when they play, I'm going to say it's a full schedule. They're playing throughout the months, and is there travel involved? Do they play locally?
Yeah, our regional teams, we try to get them within an hour and a half tournaments.
That's pretty good.
Most of the tournaments are up out of Columbus. We do go down to Cincinnati, the Mason area. It's very big. Volleyball's very big down there for them. Now, this year going in with our American teams, they're going to be a little bit more traveling. We'll be going down to Louisville and be going up to the Cleveland area, some other hotbed areas of volleyball.
So if somebody commits to do this, how is it practice every day, every other day?
We have 2 practices a week. At regional levels, 2-hour practices a practice. So a little bit more commitment for our American level.
Sure. I know this is all basically for girls, though, right? There's no boys
This
involved
year,
This year.
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
so there maybe some changes
In the
down road?
future, in our, yes, as we can expand, right now we are practicing at the Recplex here in Lancaster. We are working on getting a 2nd and 3rd court at the Recplex. And as we can expand there, then hopefully we can offer boys teams as well.
Recplex used to be the old indoor tennis facility for those that a little bit older that might recognize that.
Yep.
So, coaches. Let's talk a little bit about coaches, because you said you've got different ones for different levels.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back a second. What's the youngest that somebody could do for this?
10-11
Okay.
is our youngest team, and we had last year 9-year-olds on that team. So, yeah, based on skill level.
Talk a little bit about your coaches. Where do they come from?
Coaches are from all over. We have quite a few coaches who played in college. We've had coaches who've coached in college. Myself, I coached at Ohio University Lancaster for 6 years. Wes Brothers coached at Ohio Christian. We have the new Ohio Christian University coach just came on board. He's going to be coaching with us as well. So we have some younger coaches just out of college who played in college. So we've got a plethora of experience when it comes to our coaching staff.
Well, talk a little bit about fundamentals for volleyball that you guys get involved with, because a lot of people think, oh, you just go hit the ball over the net. And, coaches know differently, but talk a little bit about.
Pass, setting, and hitting. Yeah, and if you can't do those 3 things, you can't play volleyball very well. It all starts with the pass, and we will grill the girls from the 11s regional all the way up to our 17 American team. Pass, pass, pass until it's perfected. Yeah, a large majority of our practices will be spent on the finer technique and movement. The passing piece, how we rate passes, 3, 2, 1, 3 being a perfect pass, 2, 1, and 0. Until we can get a set number of those 3 passes, we don't move on to the next drill because it all starts right there.
If you can't pass, you can't play. Absolutely right. Yeah. Talking with Andy Phillips, Assistant Director for A2 Velocity Volleyball, located here in Lancaster. When you talk about practice, and we talk about, okay, is it during the evening? Is it going to be arranged? I guess a little bit about that.
We usually our practice will have our first sessions from 5 to 7, and then the next group will come in from 7 to 9. We have 2 teams that practice together. That way you have 2 coaches there instead of just one. It's kind of a modified tier practice system, which a lot of us who've coached at other clubs are used to. You would have, at other clubs, you'll have, from 3 to 5 teams practicing at once, and you'd have 1 tier trainer practicing everybody the same way. So as the girls go through the years of the program, they know what to expect. So since we only have the 1 court, we have just 2 teams, and those coaches share the coaching responsibilities, making up the practice plans, and highlighting what areas they want to work on.
When you explain volleyball to maybe that little Sally Joe that's never played before, take us through that. What's what do you explain to, this is what volleyball is?
Well, the first thing we want to emphasize for our young ones is the fun part of it, because we want them to catch that bug, that volleyball bug. That's something that they love to do, and go out in the backyard and just bump the ball around with their friends, and get that excitement, because we want them to have ownership of this, make this something they love, and then take that love and then teach them the right way to play the game.
I know there's a lot of different kids that play, but if you had to instill one thing, we talked about fun, but this is what you need to do to play the game of volleyball. I mean, we talk about vertical leap and all those, but just, to maybe somebody that doesn't, if you say basketball, you got to shoot the ball, you got to dribble the ball. I mean, we talk about passing, but just talk a little bit about the game itself and maybe how it's changed in the last 5 years.
Yeah. I would say for our young kids, determination and toughness, and just that never give up attitude, that you are going to have to repeat things, and it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to do things over and over and over again, because it's to master it, it takes a lot of reps and a lot of years to master this game. But if they have that passion, that internal drive, and they can push themselves and let us help them push them a little bit farther, that's when it becomes fun.
Now, do you go to watch OU, Ohio State?
Yeah, haven't been to any college games. Jessica Stevenson and myself, Jessica's our director, we tried to get out to see every one of our girls, and I think we did, that played for our club this year. So I went to a lot of Ewing and Sherman matches.
That's a huge commitment.
Yeah, it is. That's why I didn't coach this past fall. Fairfield Union, went up to Bloom Carroll, saw Lancaster, Pick Central play, and then the ones that I couldn't cover, then Jessica went and saw all our girls play. So it was neat to see how much they've grown over the course since they left us in May.
That's it. Now, we talk about the development of kids. How long have you been doing this now? I mean,
going into my 11th year.
Your 11th year.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get into it? I mean, you talked about playing on the beach, but
coaching
is different than playing.
Sure is. I got started at SEVC. Jeff Lewis, who's the director at SEVC and Lancaster High School head coach, was looking for coaches, and a friend of a friend knew him, and volleyball's a small, tight-knit community, so got my foot in the door and coached for him for 6 years, and after that, then I went up and coached at Mintonette for 2 years to get a different kind of experience up there with Max Miller, and through that, coaching up at Mintonette, that's where I met Sean Servick, who's the director at A2, and he had a connection with Jessica. He coached with her before. He texted me one day and said, "Hey, how would you like to start up a satellite club down in Lancaster?" And I said, "I'd love it." So, and that's how we came to be.
It's actually, time has just flown by, Andy. But let's talk a little bit about the equipment changes in the last. I mean, we used to be the steel poles, and now there's fiberglass, and the balls are different, and even the uniforms are different. And maybe some of the rules and regulations that people wouldn't talk about.
Probably the biggest one that drives myself and a lot of coaches nutty is the new net rule. That's it leaves so much up to interpretation. Is probably the biggest one. Uniforms, they've gotten bigger and bolder and brighter and louder. So I keep telling our girls, it's not what you look like, it's how we play the game. So. But we've got some pretty interesting uniforms this year too. So we actually put a survey out on our website, and we voted on the jersey that the girls wanted this year. So we had 3 different models, and so that's how we got our jerseys for this year.
Well, that is fantastic. Let's go one more time. Website, phone number.
Yes.
And can they just stop by the Recplex, I guess? Is that?
Yeah, they can get information at the Recplex. Or visit our website. It's advancementacademy.org. All our contact information's on there. Phone numbers, email addresses for myself and the head directors on there is the best way, or they can call the main YMCA to get information about our club.
Well, Andy, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you.
You've been tuned in to Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.
These waters were woven into the culture of Native American tribes. The descendants of the early Europeans built a business here based on agriculture. And today, this unique destination in the central Ohio countryside comes to life with stories and memories centuries old. The Fairfield County Historical Parks invites you to amazing Rock Mill. Above the falls of the Hocking River Gorge, here together, nature and man have created some truly American stories that you'll want to experience with the entire family. Visit us or learn more about Rock Mill and the largest wooden water wheel in the nation at historicalparks.org.